I mean, a lot of the rhetoric around No Child Left Behind is that the law has had these big negative impacts on teachers' work lives, on teachers' propensities to remain in the profession, and so forth. And I think what policymakers need to know is that the evidence just doesn't bear that out. And it's important not to make it's important not to make policy changes on the basis of anecdote. It's really important to look systematically at the evidence, and in this particular case, the evidence just doesn't support the idea that, that there have been these big negative impacts on teachers. You know, the conventional wisdom about teacher job attitudes is that they've been, teachers' perceptions of their jobs have actually been getting worse over this time period, and the survey data say that just isn't true. So we were a little bit surprised to find that over the time spanning the implementation of No Child Left Behind, that teachers' job satisfaction was actually going up. Teachers' intent to remain in the profession was actually going up. Several of the antecedents to job satisfaction that we looked at were also increasing. So teachers were saying they felt more supported by administrators, and they were feeling more supported by parents, for example. And so, this idea that that qualitatively that teachers' job attitudes were declining, or that teachers' job morale was falling subsequent to the implementation of No Child Left Behind just didn't seem to be true in the survey data. So that was one major finding. The other one was that No Child Left Behind itself just didn't seem to have very much impact. So we were expecting, based on the conventional wisdom, to see these big negative impacts of No Child Left Behind on teacher job satisfaction or intent to remain in the profession, and we just didn't see that. We took a number of tacks to try to ferret this out. So we compared states that did and didn't have prior accountability systems and looked at how they changed with No Child Left Behind implementation. We looked by strength of pre-existing accountability system. We also looked at differences, changes in the trends for high and low income schools, under the expectation that low income schools were probably impacted more by No Child Left Behind than high income schools because of the link to Title I funding. And across all of those different approaches, we just didn't see much impact on those kind of final job attitudes like job satisfaction or intent to remain. And that seemed to be because we did uncover a little bit of evidence that there were impacts on some of the antecedents, like autonomy or perceptions of support, but some of those were positive and some of those were negative. And so on balance, they seem to sort of even out, and the overall impact on these, what we call final job attitudes, like satisfaction or intent to remain in teaching, just didn't seem to be impacted by the law.